July 9th, 1981 was when a legend was born. They made their debut on the hit arcade game Donkey Kong, and it's unfortunate that we've only seen this character in recent times, and I know that they have the potential to be a new icon for the future of a franchise's next generation of players. Shout out to Nintendo for giving us Pauline. Where would we be without her? There's also this guy who jumps a lot. Honestly, he seems like a bum. I'm a massive fan of the Mario franchise, my favorite of all time. It's my childhood and will soon become my adulthood alongside taxes. Mario and everything else in between has been my whole life. Super Mario Bros. 3, Mario World, Mario Sunshine, New Super Mario Bros., Mario Galaxy, and Mario Odyssey. The evolution of gaming at its finest and some of the best we've ever seen in mainstream gaming. The mainline Mario games are very consistent and they nearly always one-up the previous game. Granted, there were some times where we had to go through some down bad moments. Hotel Mario, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, Mario's Time Machine. This game somehow got a deluxe version. No franchise is perfect, but the consistently great ones will always show you why they are considered some of the best of all time, Mario included. But what about the other side of Mario's extended history? Luckily, it started off with a good game, and by this time in 2000, evolution was scientifically dubbed a positive aspect for humanity, and that includes Mario spin-offs. When you look at mascots for the big three gaming companies, I will say that Mario is one of the most flexible characters in all of gaming. Could you realistically see Capcom making a good Resident Evil party game? Yeah. I didn't think so. And if you said yes, I won't judge you, but you'll always be known for that and eating glue with a side of barbecue hammers. From RPGs to having a PhD to racing against a ghost and a giant plant, Mario spin-offs have a bit of something for everybody. Each franchise comes with their own unique and goofy ideas that will fit the Mario theme. It will most likely support playing with other people and hoping that you don't chokeslam your 4-year-old sibling through your coffee table while indulging in your weekly Saturday night Mario Party session. Mario Kart gives you a sense of dominance until you get stepped on by a blue shell. Mario vs. Donkey Kong makes you wonder who the true love interest is. Is it Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, or Pauline? Well, here's a surprise for you. The answer is no. A wide variety of options, but if we were to take away Mario Kart and Mario Party as key elements of spin-offs, we're left with balls. Lots of them. I mean, you gotta start somewhere. Originally, Mario would be a feature character in early generation sports games on the NES, but when they realized that they can do a lot more with this character other than making him look like that really cool uncle everyone has, Nintendo gave Mario the time of day to hit and throw balls all over the place whenever he wants. Baseball, soccer, basketball, and for God's sake, horseback riding. I'd say the ratio of Mario sports games we have currently is about 70-30, so Mario sports games will most likely be decent on initial release. You gotta have your downs with your ups, but remember the 70-30 ratio. You would think Mario Golf and Tennis on the N64 was the start of it, but we have to remember virtual reality before virtual reality. Now, switch reality with the 3-year-old boy and you got yourself the definition of mid. The Virtual Boy was Nintendo's filler arc while they were still working on the N64. They had ideas for a new way to experience games without sitting 3 inches away from your CRT. But this time around, just take away the CRT and put the console on your face. Well, at least they tried. We got our first real Mario sports game, and this was the start of an interesting religion. Like I said earlier, you gotta start somewhere. Getting its first exclusive appearance as its own franchise, we're introduced to Mario Tennis through this damn thing. Mario's Tennis. 4.4 out of 5 on eBay, holy shit. Released alongside the Virtual Boy in 1995 as a launch title, it gave us a bit too much for its time, just look at this. But with the Nintendo 64 on the way, we would eventually get to play a cleaner, more colorful version of said sport with Mario Tennis. Exactly 5 years after the initial release of Mario's Tennis. This time around, he can't claim the sport as his own concept, and he's pretty much forced to share it with other people. It's a fun time and sets a good base for future games to work off of. A few months later, we would get a Game Boy Color port of the same tennis game on console in November. Fast forward to 2004 with Nintendo's next console nearly at the end of its lifespan, Mario Power Tennis for the GameCube. A game full of charm, character, and a lot of Nintendo wackiness that they should be implementing in their newer Mario spin-off games. I could show you the opening cutscene alone and you'll know what you're in for. So much replayability with the different modes, the wide cast of characters, and more. It was a spectacle and some regard it as the best Mario Tennis game for good reason. But I want to start an argument for the next upcoming Mario Tennis game, as I believe it's top 2. In 2005, I was 2 years old and Nintendo released my all-time favorite tennis game because there are only about 4 good standalone tennis games and Mario Tennis Power Tour is one of them. Combining an RPG with a game about hitting balls back and forth initially seems like a stupid idea, but I have an idea of my own for the degenerates who think that. Play this game and you'll eventually lose your degenerate tag. We wouldn't get another Mario Tennis game until the Wii in 2009. Funny because I'm pretty sure the next actual tennis game is on the 3DS. It's basically the same game just with motion controls. Now we can move on to the next original Mario Tennis game, and this is where things start to go a bit downhill. The Obama re-election and Mario Tennis are the most iconic events that happened in 2012 that weren't movies and music. I'd rather watch Food Fight than play this game by choice. Mario Tennis Open was the beginning of the boring era of Mario Tennis. It wasn't terrible, but it was incredibly mid for what it was, and that's not the best achievement to go for. This introduces the concept of different ways of hitting the ball by doing specific button commands and standing on different glowing spots that'll grant you the type of hit you're going for, instead of just pressing buttons without the extra boost. I don't believe this gameplay change was for the better, but at least this game will get you through some long drives throughout the country. Unlike the Wii U. 2015, what a year to be a Nintendo fan. I'm just now getting news that hell is starting to drop in temperature because of a really bad Nintendo game known as Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. It's dubbed as one of Nintendo's worst games they've ever made in the modern era since Donkey Kong Hockey in 1984. That's all the news we got for today. Join us tomorrow morning as we interview my good friend Secret Boots and his thoughts about the Sonic franchise. Moving on to a better time in the world known as 2018. It's been a year since the Nintendo Switch has been released and we got some news about the next Mario Tennis game. On March 8th, 2018, we got an announcement trailer for the next Mario Tennis game. You can already tell that this is going to be a big upgrade to Ultra Smash. Characters look a lot more refined with their tennis outfits, the gameplay is smooth with new mechanics and a brand new story mode that we haven't seen since Power Tour. Originally developed by Camelot, who works on most of the Mario sports games, but mainly Mario Tennis and Mario Golf. They have some gems and some rusted bronze in their resume, but the majority of it represents the best parts of Camelot as a company. So after some announcements and trailers, Mario Tennis Aces released on Nintendo Switch worldwide on June 22nd, 2018. Well, except China, they got the game on January 21st, 2021. I don't think I want to know why. This game received a lot of positive reviews as it got compared to Ultra Smash, mostly by just being a much better game. Ultra Smash was originally rushed for a Mario release for the holidays in 2015, and look where that got them. At least with Mario Tennis Aces, they were able to take their time with coming up with new ideas in order to allow this game to be a true successor of a really bad game. Originally selling around 247,000 copies within its first month in Japan, pretty good numbers for what it is because not many people are expecting to play this more than Red Dead Redemption 2 or Spider-Man. A year after its release, we're looking at 2.64 million copies being sold worldwide, being the best-selling Mario Tennis game of all time, but the competition hasn't been that intimidating to start off with. I love Mario spin-offs, so let's see what this game's got. This is Mario Tennis Aces. It's been a while since we've seen a story in these games, an aspect that isn't required for a general sports game. Some are really good, but most are absolute garbage. But Mario stories in general are usually very tame and simple, but that doesn't have to take away from the quality of the story or gameplay in the first place. It's never complex because it doesn't have to be. That includes Mario Tennis Aces. The overall plot contains Wario and Waluigi mining at the Temple of Basque when they discover a treasure chest containing Lucian, Lucian, a magical racket said to be legendary to those who would possess it. I'm surprised a certain company didn't file a copyright strike and sue Nintendo. The duo perceived themselves as displaying pride at matches using Lucian and opening up the treasure chest to unveil it. Just as they obtain Lucian, the racket unveils its power and shocks the duo. They soon emerge at Marina Stadium, immediately following a championship match in which Mario and Peach won against Bowser and Bowser Jr. The duo attempts to offer Lucian to Mario, but Luigi snatches it up, after which it begins to take possession of him, Wario, and Waluigi through the use of its grip tape. Someone get the funeral ready. Mario and Toad then embark on a journey to destroy Lucian and save Wario, Luigi, and Waluigi. But we kinda have to because Daisy is holding us at gunpoint so that they'll be safe after we bring them back. Mainly Luigi, we really don't give a damn about Waluigi here. Be real, Daisy, this is a Mario game. They aren't gonna bring the corpse of a piranha plant back. Mario and Toad soon arrive at the Basque ruins where they meet Aster, guardian of King Basque and watcher over Lucian. If you're the watcher of Lucian, I don't know how you miss Wario and Waluigi. One of them is literally just a bigger Pac-Man with a mustache and the other one is a literal stick I can snap in half. Many years ago, King Basque stripped Lucian's power and divided it among 5 power stones hidden on the island. Years later, the room that Lucian has been captive in fell to ruin, breaking the seal and allowing the racket to fall into new hands. Aster requests that Mario find the power stones and end Lucian once and for all. God, this sounds so familiar. So, throughout our journey, Mario obtains the first 3 power stones by defeating Peter Piranha in Piranha Plant Forest, the Mirror Queen and Mirage Mansion, and the Snow Ogre at the summit of Snowfall Mountain respectively. Mario tries to claim the power stones in the Savage Sea and Inferno Island, but it can never be that easy. The last 2 are obtained by Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi. The former 2 decide to settle the score at Marina Stadium. Whoever wins receives all 5 power stones. Princesses take on Wario and Waluigi while Mario takes on Luigi, with slight power given to the princesses and Mario by Aster respectively, because obviously how in the world am I gonna defeat a mummified Wario? After snatching 2 dubs, allowing them to receive the power stones, and everyone is happy. Well, that's how it should be, but for everyone, that will be incredibly boring. So Bowser soon gets a hold of Lucian before the main crew claims the power stones, and makes off to the Temple of Basque. Mario confronts him inside the temple and not only defeats him, but breaks Lucian, causing the entire temple to collapse. With the spirit of King Basque now able to rest in peace, Aster thanks Mario for his heroism throughout the quest. Soon after those events, everyone celebrates Mario's victory in banishing Lucian and saving the world. Not really, we're literally just on a tennis island. And that's the story of Mario Tennis Aces. The story is really fun as we travel and have to indulge in many different tennis related challenges. I'm glad they didn't just have us go up against characters in matches for every level, but the challenges fit the sport of tennis and there's a lot of variety here, and the difficulty gets harder on a consistent scale instead of just having Donkey Kong murder us on the court. Alright, so what makes this game better than its predecessor? Well, literally everything. Story, replayability, charm, everything you can think of. Gameplay is definitely one of them. As an Ultra Smash, it's so bare bones. You can literally see the tumbleweeds on the box art. While playing, it's literally tennis where you have to hit the ball back and forth with your opponent, and whoever is able to get the ball past their opponent gets a point. And games can go on for sets at a time, and whoever has the most sets won is the overall winner. Controlling the characters is very nice and fluid, and moving them around the tennis court is silky smooth. Obviously, you can't just roam around without hitting the ball. There are 5 different ways of hitting the ball that are associated with each face button: a topspin, slice, flat, and the X button that gives you 2 different techniques while holding the control stick either up or down, which will give you the ability to do a lob or a drop shot. This allows you to switch up your strategy whenever you need to. As long as you hold the button long enough, you'll execute a more powerful version of whatever shot you're going for. Or if you don't want to wait that long, you can just press the button twice. Every now and then you'll see this spinning star on the ground, and that indicates that you'll have the ability to return a ball at a higher speed or perform a special shot. We'll get to that in a second. These shots can be performed when the player stands on a star point. It usually appears when the ball gets sent high into the air by the opponent, or when the player's energy gauge is at least 1/3 of the way filled up. They're slightly more powerful than max charge shots. You've probably noticed that very eye-catching gauge in both upper corners of the screen. That is your energy gauge. It slowly fills up as you play, and it allows you to pull off a multitude of abilities that takes away a certain amount of energy depending on the energy skills you use. First up is the trick shot. This involves the player moving quickly towards a distant ball to hit it, usually slowing down time so the player can get to the ball quickly when it's too far away to hit it. You do lose a bit of energy, but if your timing is right, you can gain energy after a do-perfect trick shot, Mario Tennis Aces edition. Flick the right stick where you want your character to go and boom, your life is saved as you continue the rally. Zone Speed is a very special move. When active, the world turns into slow motion. Player, however, is not affected and can run at normal pace, allowing them to reach any balls hit to the other side of the court that cannot be reached at normal speed. The only thing you need to consider is that as long as you have some energy, you'll be able to use it, but it drains as much energy for however long you use it. So if your energy gauge is completely full, you'll be able to use it until the gauge is all the way depleted. It's a very well executed concept, and it isn't completely broken because you still have a limit as to how much you can use it. This also allows a lot of strategy on if you want to use it, even if you have a small amount of energy. It's not completely dependent on whether or not you can't reach the ball, because you also have trick shots if the ball is on the other side of your side of the court. Yeah, that was a lot of words. Zone shots are shots that can be performed on a spinning star point I mentioned earlier. They can also be performed when the player is serving. The ball can be aimed anywhere on the court in the first person perspective, then struck with power. If you want to hit your opponent, just aim at their butt. You'll get the point either way. But they can successfully block a zone shot with proper timing. However, if the ball is hit too early or too late, your racket will be damaged. We'll get into that in a bit. As long as you're on the rotating star and have some energy, it's just like Zone Speed, to where you can aim for as long as you want, as long as you have some energy to use. Being able to aim wherever you want to hit the ball gives you such a huge advantage, but it's not guaranteed because your opponents can still use Zone Speed or zone shots to defend against you and keep the rally going. It makes the game more intense and puts you on edge as a spectator to see who will come out of this alive, because one of them has to go. The final special shot is, I literally just said it, they are the most powerful types of shots in the game. They can be performed from anywhere on the court, but only when the player's energy gauge is completely full. It'll trigger a short animation which shows how the character is going to perform the shot. Mario wall jumps off of nothing, Rosalina spawns Lumas, and more. You can aim and shoot the ball in the first person perspective like zone shots. Unless it's countered with a block, special shots have the power to break the opponent's racket instantly. The only way I can realistically see rackets breaking is from pure rage. Well, speaking of rackets and rage, in this game, rackets can get damaged and broken on impact of zone or special shots if you don't time it properly. I don't recommend relying on lag switching for something as technical as trying to hit a ball that's flying at you about 200 miles an hour. Depending on how you choose your settings for the match, you can have your rackets break or not. If you do activate KOs, be prepared to put your tennis knowledge to the test as if you're playing a tennis-based fighting game, because once all your rackets are broken, then say goodbye to the mere concept of your life. Alright, let's talk about game modes. We got 6 different modes: Adventure, Tournament, Co-op Challenge, Free Play, Ring Shot, and Swing Play. I can't play Co-op Challenge because no one wants to play this game in 2023, and I can't play Swing Mode because my Joy-Con have been drifting on the freeway for about 4 years. Since I already talked about Adventure, let's start off with Free Play. You can play this mode offline or online, but I wouldn't bet on finding anyone instantly like you used to in 2018. Times have changed. The name explains everything. You can customize the rules, choose your stage with hazards on or off, and then character selection. It's the most simple thing in the world, and there isn't much to say about it. Participate in bracket play without having to actually go to a real life venue. You can play with CPUs or real people online, and try not to suplex your controller into your wall with the number of Bowser Jr.'s and Boos you'll see. When you play offline, you can play in 3 different cups, and I'm pretty sure depending on the cup you play represents the difficulty of the CPU. But the Star Cup doesn't have the hardest difficulty, because I know full well if it was, this gameplay would be about 10 hours long. Nintendo might be sadists, but they're not gonna step on your genitals. Ring Shot is a recurring mode from past Mario Tennis games, where you and another person or a CPU have to rally the ball and squeeze them in between rings of different sizes during a certain amount of time and rack up the amount of points required to succeed within the time limit, or in some cases, gain as many points as possible within the time limit. There are 3 different variations of this mode in Mario Tennis Aces: Ring Shot Singles, Ring Shot Doubles, and for some weird reason, Yoshi's Ring Shot. Let's start off with Ring Shot Singles. You can join forces with player 2 and get a high score together, or go up against them to see who gets the higher score and who will have to get a tennis ball to the face by a tennis ball machine on max settings. Next up is ring shot doubles. It's all the same thing except it's in a 2v2 setting. Nothing really changes, but there is a special ring shot mode known as Yoshi's ring shot. It's basically the exact same thing as ring shot doubles, but instead of being able to select your character, everyone including yourself is a Yoshi. But there is a twist. The rings all represent the color of Yoshi being green, blue, yellow, and red. Whenever you get the ball through the same color as your Yoshi, you get bonus points. Shout out to Nintendo for ending Yoshi discrimination. So ring shot is pretty cool, but it's unfortunate that it's the only extra mode you can actually play with a controller, because swing mode on the other hand should have an option for a controller, especially when the rest of the game lets you choose if you want to use the Joy-Con in the story mode, free play, or tournaments, and that includes using it online as well. There is a lot more to do in swing mode, such as being able to play normal tennis with the regular sized ball, a big ball. You can pretty much replay Shy Guy Train Tussle and Boo Hunt that are from the adventure mode, and a rally challenge. Just continue the rally for as long as possible. These should have been a general mode for whatever controller scheme you wanted to use, instead of being locked behind motion controls. But overall, the modes in this game may be a bit minimal, but you'll always find yourself playing something that you enjoy. This game has a very nice cast of characters, but we had to work up to where we are today. So when the game was originally released, we got 16 characters. A very good way to start off, but there is still more room to grow. So as time went by, Nintendo kept on adding characters alongside updates as part of free DLC. After it was all over, we now have a total of 34 characters. We could have used a bit more to even it out to about 36 or 40 characters, but I am super satisfied with the options we got, and I'm happy that some obscure characters are getting more representation. So let's talk about them. In Mario Tennis, characters usually have one of 6 different types of tennis playstyles. I'll go over all 6 of them and mention every character with said playstyle, starting off with the all-around characters. These characters can do pretty much everything. They have good speed, good enough return power, and defense. They don't really excel at a specific style like the rest of the characters, but you don't have to worry about any downfall as they don't have any major weaknesses. This type has 4 characters that represent it. They are Mario, Luigi, Daisy, and Birdo. I think a few characters that could have fit this playstyle are Yoshi, Koopa, Shy Guy, and Pauline, but I can definitely understand their current type as it is. All-arounders can get the job done at a consistent rate, and they can contest with any other type. Time to get technical.
Shut your stupid.
I am not really sorry, because I'm taking this one on a literal and figurative level. Technical characters exceed in control over power, and they can get the ball to the corners of the court easier. Their curve is really good, and they're either a bit faster or slower than all-around characters, but at the cost of more power. If you want to make your opponent run all over the court and force them to stay near the back to cover the corners, Peach, Toadette, Paratroopa, Shy Guy, Luma, and the Fire Piranha Plant are the best options for you. But if you prefer being able to get to the ball easier at blazing speeds, Toad, Yoshi, Koopa, Diddy Kong, and Pauline got the zoomies. These characters are particularly weak, but they're able to be on multiple parts of the court with the power of their legs. You'll be able to keep up a rally, but if you're going up against a powerful character, be prepared to become a ragdoll. Speaking of which, the exact opposite of speedy characters. You prefer big boys, and you're the type of person that thinks that height is a personality trait. Wario, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Spike, Chain Chomp, and Petey Piranha will spike a tennis ball like a volleyball. High return speeds, but very slow and harder to get around the court with. It's like putting a sumo wrestler in a tennis outfit and making them go up against Roger Federer. They say defense is the best offense, and that can translate very well to tennis. These characters can cover a wide range of the court, but it's better for them to stay back and basically become a wall. You'll have to force them to move up to the net where they're most vulnerable. With good return speed but slower movement alongside a noticeable curve, they can keep up a rally for a very long time, and you'll have to switch up your strategy to get them away from the brick wall they've built. Waluigi, Bowser Jr., Boom Boom, and Dry Bowser are your options if you want to annoy your opponent by camping. Last but definitely not least are the tricksters of tennis. They have an immense curve to their shots, especially their topspin and slice. They'll curve you so hard it won't be as bad as you getting curved by your crush. Rosalina, Boo, Blooper, Kamek, and Dry Bones really make you work on defense by crossing you up to one side of the court when the ball is already on the other side. Relatively slow and kind of weak, these are the sidekicks of the tennis court, and they'll mess with your brain in every way possible. Alright, even though there is a very nice cast of characters, I will say alongside the modes, the courses are pretty lackluster as well, more so the quantity instead of the quality. I'm glad that there's more here. It's not just the same stadium with different floor textures. We actually play in different locations from the story. So every course has different properties depending on the texture of the floor. It's all about the ball speed and bounce. It changes up the strategy of where you need to be on the court and what playstyle will give you the best advantage. I think we're all familiar with the stadium courses in any type of tennis media, whether it be live sports or video games. There are 4 different variations of Marina Stadium: night, hard, clay, and grass. If you've never played Ultra Smash, I will personally send you 5 bouquets of flowers, but you'll only play in one specific venue in that game. This time around, we play in the ruins, a forest, a mansion that isn't Luigi's this time, a mountain, a boat streaming down the sea, and best of all, right next to an active volcano surrounded by lava. Every stage, excluding the stadiums and the Basque Ruin, come with their fair share of hazards. From piranha plants to mirrors to a random pole in the middle of the court, I thought this game was rated E. It forces you to figure out ways to get around those hazards without getting screwed over. But if you don't want to deal with them like me, you can just turn them off. There isn't that much general information on this game to go deeper into. It's just enough to make it replayable enough to get a good hour session in for a week or possibly 3 months. Obviously there was free DLC throughout the year, patches, characters, but unfortunately no new courses. So let's go into the greens and reds. I think this game is very solid for what it is. It's not perfect, but I'm glad that the greens outweigh the reds. Let's get into it. This is a good way to evolve Mario Tennis and push it in the right direction, especially after Ultra Smash. I hope Nintendo works off of this game whenever they decide to make another one, and I really hope Camelot one-ups themselves and makes an even better Mario Tennis game in the future. I love how unique these bosses are. You work your way through the respective part of the world and learn every new mechanic. Floating mirrors, traffic, and bombs, because why not? When you get to the boss itself, it'll put your skills and knowledge of the location's gimmick to the test. Not only that, but as well as your basic tennis knowledge of using all the different shots to your advantage to make things easier for you. They're a lot of fun to fight against. Madame Mirage, Snow Ogre, Bowser, the possessed beings of Wario, Waluigi, and Luigi, and Bowser are the best this game throws at us, and that's a hard majority of the bosses in the story, which really shows the quality of these bosses as they're all so unique and really good. It may be a small list, but it's enough to teach you what you need to know. It's not oversaturated, but it's also not overwhelming either. The perfect combination. This also goes for the trials that you unlock after beating the game. It's just like the challenges we have to endure during the story, but filled to the brim with steroids. Well, at least the red and yellow trials. The blue and green ones are really easy. I guess I'll never know what the center trial is. Even though I really like tennis, I'm no Serena Williams. The music in this game is so much more impactful. It really does give me the idea that I'm playing a good tennis game. Ultra Smash's soundtrack felt like the game, stock and super vanilla, but luckily this time around they decided to let it evolve, and here we are with Mario Tennis Aces. So basically this is what they were keeping away from us on the Wii U. It all makes sense now. I will say my reds are more so smaller things that would have given this game a bit more personality. The box art, it's kind of boring. Just Mario and Peach? It would have been better if we had a box art that represented the story a bit more but still shows off that this is a tennis game. There's no opening cutscene, the initial menu should have a bit more character and charm instead of just being the box art. Same goes for the main menu. It should have different versions, kind of like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Daisy quite literally looks like a plastic doll. A wider range of courses would have been nice, but it's whatever. Just take some elements and locations from past sports games and use those as references or build them up from scratch. Bowser Jr. Boulevard would be beautiful with these graphics, or even a revamped Yoshi Park at night. Also, we should be able to choose or randomize the courses in tournament mode for both online and offline instead of just the same course over and over again. I also don't like that in order to unlock alternate costumes, you have to play online tournaments instead of gaining some type of currency after matches, no matter which mode you play, and it will give you the ability to buy customizable items for your characters, outfits, rackets, and more. We'll talk about that another time though. Also, why can't we pause in the middle of a game offline? Obviously, I understand why for online, we have to pause during the replays. Imagine your mom walks in and tells you to pause the game and you have to tell her that you can't because you're offline instead of online. Yeah, you better get those pillows ready. I'm glad Nintendo learned from their mistakes with Ultra Smash. Mario Tennis Aces isn't super minimal, there's charm and personality, but I feel like it doesn't live up to its potential. The invention mode is consistent throughout, and I think it's the perfect length for a new tennis story. In my opinion, it's the best part of the game, and that's what nearly every game goes for, whether it be sports or a AAA game. This is a fun game to play, and the new mechanics bring in something new to consider when getting destroyed by this damn thing. Also, I didn't mention in detail that you can also play as a chain chomp. Who would have thought? Nintendo with their modern sports games are taking specific villainous icons we've known for a while, and they're giving them a chance to shine as their own characters. Spike, a dog in the shape of a chain steel ball, bringing back Blooper, Diddy Kong, and Birdo, giving Luma a chance to shine on its own alongside a fire piranha plant. I personally prefer ice, but there are no such thing as ice piranha plants, unless Nintendo decides to make a new Super Mario Bros. Game. Jesus Christ, where's the gasoline?